Today, welcome back to the Unfiltered Journeys, and this is episode number 4. Yeah, where we bring you untold stories, inspiring journeys, and heartfelt conversations. Today's guest is a brilliant academic, passionate researcher, and an inspiring woman whose life has been dedicated to literature, learning, and mentorship. She is Dr. Lulu Mariam Borgohain. With over 17 years of experience as an assistant professor in English, Dr. Mariam has devoted her life to exploring the world of literature. She holds an MA in English with specialization in American Studies and her PhD focused on African American fiction. This seems really interesting actually, African American fiction, specifically the works of William Faulkner, Ernest Gaines, and Toni Morrison. Her academic footprint extends globally, presenting papers at prestigious conferences across the world, from Princeton University to Louisiana State University, US, covering subjects like environmental humanities, global cultural production, and post colonial literature. Nationally, she has been a prominent voice in conversations around urban folklore, Northeast Indian literature, and British fiction, bringing fresh perspectives to the literary world. Beyond her academic achievements, she is also a mother, uh, balancing the beautiful, chaos of parenting with the rigors of teaching and research. Her story reflects the challenges and triumphs of being a woman in academia, navigating between classrooms, conference halls, and home. In today's episode, we will explore her inspiring journey from her student days. From She is from Dibrugarh, Assam, to becoming an influential educator. Her thoughts on the evolving world of teaching, the future of AI, as we all know, in education, and her personal reflections on motherhood and creativity. So get ready for a conversation that's thoughtful as it inspiring. So here I introduce Dr. Lulu Mariam Borgohain, and it is my privilege and honor to have you on my podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Hi, welcome.
Hello, Zakaria. Thank you so much. That was quite an exhaustive introduction. I'm humbled. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I believe this will be a very engaging session. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Hi.
definitely. So without any further delay, so let's start with a quick round of questions, right? So can you walk us through your journey from being a student to becoming a professor? What inspired you to become a professor?
Student to professor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot say with a lot of conviction that I was a very, studious school student. I was more a school goer. I would, enjoy everything outside the academic classroom. So not really a school learner, but then I enjoyed reading books. I
All
read
right.
books. I read
So do you enjoy reading more into fiction or non-fiction?
everything that comes the way.
Okay.
I read books, I read people, I read their mannerisms. I tried to understand their mannerisms. And this came to me quite unwittingly.
So can you name a book that has, changed your life, something like that, or maybe a turning point,
Well,
or
uh,
or there is no like such
uh,
a book?
you know, you have so
I know.
world is full of wonderful texts, wonderful books that, you know,
Yeah, correct, correct,
in different languages. You cannot really tap down one that this is
correct.
the one or that is the one. But then, of course, I
Truly,
have influences, a lot of
definitely,
influences.
definitely, yeah.
So what I was trying to say is, if at all this was a journey, it had been very, very effectual, very, very meaningful. My passion for reading was actually seriously repurposed, reoriented into academic scholarship or serious learning, mainly through the efforts of my teachers in the graduate and postgraduate courses.
Mm.
I am greatly indebted to their commitment, the way they have entirely refashioned my thought process. It's very unprecedented to the extent that I did not attempt or even aspire to be anything else. Literature and learning became my home, my safe haven, my forte, if you may say.
Right.
And even as very unpremeditated.
So this interest came when you were a student, like say in class 9, 10. You went into more into subjects of English or something like that from that time itself.
Not such inclination, because after my matriculation, I opted for science.
Oh.
I liked science, I liked physics in particular,
Mhm.
but I was not very keen on going for medical or engineering degrees. So I thought I should pursue what I know best, what I like best. Not know best, definitely,
Yeah,
but what I do like best. And it's my
mhm,
passion that has led me through. I'm happy
definitely.
that I'm pursuing it.
Really nice to hear from you. And how has teaching changed over the years, like from blackboards to digital class platforms? Now, if you would ask me, so I work as a risk analyst in the corporate. So what happens is like many a times what I feel to seek any information, we go to Google or we something see like that. So that was years and years back. We refer Google online, different websites online. Now we have got ChatGPT, we have AI, right? So like ChatGPT, when we see any information, it gives on. But I also feel that how you train the ChatGPT, it trains according to you, because the input that you provide, it's giving to you. So what do you think? Like it has for you, maybe it's a very big change, right? From those blackboards to now digital platforms, and now you as a professor, what do you think? Is this for a better future?
Oh, this is a trick question, but then
I know.
teaching per se has not changed. The
Yeah.
tools have changed,
Okay.
though. I wouldn't want to say that one scores better over the other. What we have opted for is a dyadic model. You understand? There is a deliberate blending in of both the traditional methods of teaching as well as the digitalized platforms that have been made available to us.
So that
Rather
means
than keeping
it's a hybrid, like both of them.
hybrid, dyadic, we are
Okay.
trying to extract the best out of both.
Okay.
And, rather than keeping them as binary options, rather than keeping them as bipolar, we have tried to mingle them both. Now,
Mhm.
digitalization, as I have seen, it comes both with its pros and cons. Reading materials have become exhaustive, have become very, very accessible to everybody. But time and education, time and again,
Yeah.
education has been thwarted.
Mm.
We have this crisis of running the risk of becoming reductive. Education becomes simplistic, becoming reductive, which defeats the entire purpose of education that it should serve.
Okay.
uh, we have been increasingly dealing with not entirely, but a significant chunk of the student population, whom we call the cut and paste generation, the copy and paste generation. Now, what do we do with
Yeah.
I would always insist to my students that the human imagination, the human memory was
Correct.
never really designed to be a clipboard.
Mhm.
Copy it in your clipboard and you paste it as your project assignment. That was never it. Like Coleridge would say, Samuel Taylor Coleridge had preempted this, years back,
Mhm.
hundreds of years back, that our mind is very exemplastic, ESEMPLASTIC.
Okay.
So
What is what does exactly that mean?
whatever information you have, you can
Okay.
rebuild it. That
Okay.
is the capacity only of the human mind. Only a human mind can
Mhm.
use imagination, the poetic imagination, to further things. That is not something that AI can do or even
Definitely.
education can do. So
Mhm.
memory should never be devalued. I believe
Mhm.
in that. Memory should be given its because memory is fecund. It is a given. Memory
Correct.
is so fertile, and we should
Mhm.
not compromise with it.
Truly. And as you said, about the digital, like the platforms, have you ever, gone through online classes during COVID times and all?
Now, of
So
course, I
how
have
how was your experience during online?
I have been conducting online classes through
Okay.
pandemic, before pandemic,
Okay.
because now we have other forms of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
You reach out to students in other states,
Yeah.
times even abroad.
Yeah. Correct.
That reaching out really helps.
Because there are multiple online courses that is coming up, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
So the accessibility has become par excellent. You cannot debate that. Uh,
Correct.
but then again, there are gaps. When we talk about pandemic, we have about 200 children on screen.
Yeah.
We request them to please put on their screen
Camera on. Yeah.
cameras on. But then
Yeah.
that is, it's not
It's
feasible.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
practical.
I also feel the interaction is also less.
Interaction is very
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
You have to keep prodding them. You have to
Yeah.
check the name list,
Yeah.
keep asking questions. That becomes very, not only very taxing, but then it also defeats the purpose of education.
Yes. Yes. So after doing bachelor's, then doing pursuing masters, say even I also did my engineering and then pursued my MBA, and now I'm working. But eventually, this thought of many students often wonder: is pursuing a PhD really worth it today? What should they keep in mind before committing to it, right? And also, even in my career now, if I ask you, so since you are a PhD holder, so my field is into catastrophic modeling, so atmospheric science, risk management, like that. And I see a bunch of people are doing really well in the corporate. Okay, and I also see there are people who have gone to taken up PhD. Specifically, there are people who have taken up in good universities, IIT Bombay. Even people can go to US. Okay, so I was just thinking, like some days back, I was thinking, should I take up a PhD? Although I'm married, I know at this point of time, but this question of taking up a PhD, it has many doubts, not only for me, also for the people. So, what do you think? Like, how much do we have to commit? And as we all know that we also get a stipend, right, when we do a PhD. But for a working guy like me, so leaving my job and have all and doing a PhD. So, what do you think? How much should we be remain committed? Is it really worth it?
Yeah, a lot of questions here. See, if you are working, you are not qualified to get a stipend. Okay, you're not qualified to get the JRF
Okay.
since you're working.
Hmm.
So you have to be a full-time research scholar for that.
Yeah, correct.
So in that way, there is a lot of incentive.
Correct.
People also opt for PhD for the JRF money. That is quite a lot of money.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah.
Number one. But then, if you're talking about the skepticism, what I have seen in my students or maybe students of my colleagues across the country, if we may limit ourselves to India,
Yeah.
uh, I think students now are a lot more clear. They have a lot of clarity than they had, say, a decade ago.
Hmm.
There would be one section of students who know that they will pursue academics and they go for very serious study. They
Hmm.
go and crack all these entrance tests.
Yeah.
So money flows in, which is very important for a research student.
Hmm.
And even as they understand that their gratification would be delayed, you know
Hmm.
compared to their counterparts.
Okay.
So they have that kind of clarity and they have that kind
Okay.
of obligation that I will do my PhD.
They
But
have that mindset, specific mindset.
yes, but this is a very small chunk, a very small section of uh,
People.
students
Yeah.
in the entire country.
Hmm.
This is one. So, because they are committed, I would say the stakeholders, the country, they should see to it that they are being provided with all kinds of research material, all kinds of accessibility. Without that, research goes to nothing. And
Hmm.
a country's knowledge base is research.
Hmm.
America had understood that
Correct.
200 years back,
Yeah.
300 years back, and therefore you have, one of the
Yeah. Yeah.
it is nation,
Hmm.
the knowledge base.
Correct.
Speakers like Emerson had spoken about this.
Hmm.
A lot
Yeah.
of There's a lot of foresight into research. Why do we need to study? Because research really affects the entire socio-political and economic system in any country. You cannot deny that. Number one, I'm talking about those who opt for PhD scholarship, uh, voluntarily. They know
Okay.
what they are doing.
Mm.
Number two, there is also a set of students who are very, very realistic. They are very rooted to the reality. As I
Yeah.
said, they are grounded. And unlike a decade ago, when students, they would be slightly casual, they would just opt in for a PhD because it remains within the comfort zone of
Yeah.
studying and going on, the
Mm-hmm.
inertia of doing something.
Yeah.
But then now India has been offering a lot of these white collar jobs.
Correct.
So all
Yeah.
these, this the other set of people, the other set of students who understand that their pursuit is not academics, they would promptly go for these white collar jobs. And then even as the salary may be very, very compromising, we understand how much these company jobs or office jobs pay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it,
I see there are one side there are like people who have done their PhD and they've gone into academics entirely, purely as you said. And also there is one where what I see like they've again come back to the corporate, say as a research scientist,
yeah.
something like that, right? I've
Yes.
seen that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
this research scientist has been there in the West, but it has also been there in the East. You if
Yeah.
you go to Singapore, if you go to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
this is what they do. They become research scientists also because of the enormous amount of salary, the
Yeah.
incentive
Yeah.
that they get. But in a
Mm-hmm.
country like India, given our economy, given our
Yeah. Yeah.
population, given our conditions, this is slightly idealistic.
Okay.
So what I'm talking about is this other set of students who go for these white collar jobs. They
Mhm.
work assiduously over time, day, night. They acquire certain assets.
Yeah.
And they live an independent life. They post and repost their happiness in social media. They travel around places.
Yeah.
I think this is
Yeah.
positive because at least they are
Correct. Yeah.
pro-life. They
Definitely.
understand what they are made for, and rather than chasing butterflies, rather
Yeah.
than chasing ghosts,
Yeah.
they pave a way for themselves to
Correct.
make
Correct.
money, to live their life at least.
Correct. So ultimately, the goal is to be, whatever we do, we should be happy about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what I feel, yeah, next, there's thank you so much for this answer. Um, how do you like unwind from the academic life? And your son, Vayun, I have also met him. He's quite charming, very studious, and quite sharp. So, what as a mother, as a like, what do you tell him to how think creatively? Like, any suggestions do you give him?
Okay. So the first question maybe,
Yeah,
I do not really want to unwind from academic life. Now, academics is what I'm
but you
made.
need breaks, right?
Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah,
course I do. But what I really wish to unwind from is the mechanical pressure of performance that we have to undergo. Even in our academic zone, people think that we are not into corporate world, but this
yeah.
has been corporatized in
Okay,
very unfortunate ways.
okay.
So,
So we have the concept of fixed timings before when we think about academics, right? 9 to 5 or something like that, or the fixed time of classroom hours that you have in a day. Is it? We think in that way.
classroom hours are fixed, of course,
Yeah.
I say that, but there's a tedium of numerous, administrative work,
Hmm.
clerical work. As I say,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
have to keep uploading things. We have interesting softwares, amusing softwares, if I may use that word. I don't want to be harsh, okay?
Yeah.
That needs us to be, running
Hmm.
at our toes all the time.
Yeah.
Now, what happens in the process? The very quintessence of learning is lost. Education is lost, and this has come as very, very frustrating to the entire teaching community. Not just frustrating; it's
Yeah.
like umbrage. It's an offense to the very spirit of learning. How we have become quantitative, how we
Yeah.
have to compromise quality
Hmm.
because of you know if I may say, the kind of clerical work also
Yeah.
that we have been exposed to.
Hmm. Yeah. So even it's quite hectic, like
It
yeah,
becomes hectic. And if you talk about unwinding, yeah, I do read my favorite books whenever I
yeah,
have time.
traveling.
Travel a lot. I really travel a lot. And if you're
Yeah.
asking about my son, I do not think he's my son. I do not think
Okay.
he is very studious, but then yes, he also has this penchant for learning.
Yeah.
And if I ask him to be creative, we cannot. This is a generation.
Mm.
We cannot do away technology from them, no matter.
Yeah.
So maybe at most I have learned this from my parents. I can ask them to write about their perception. I can ask them to write about their experiences. Maybe how do you create a video game? Or what does a series of, Japan and Korea and China, the texts have become very popular among the children,
Yeah.
manga series.
Hmm.
So this is also a blind consumption, I might say. But
Yeah.
then as long as he's reading, it is
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Fond
Creative
of reading books.
thinking,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Nice.
Creative thinking, I think, would come not only by consuming something, but then also applying.
Mhm.
I don't know how successful I'll become in the process as a mother, but if you're asking me as a
Yeah.
question, yes, you have to apply. How do you
Definitely.
apply? Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So, and do you prefer his choices like later on? What do you think? Like, a parent should, give the choices to this like their children or for their studies, whatever they wants to opt, or should we also have to say our point?
I am not the best of the parents. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
still struggling parenthood. Okay. But then, yes, I vote for when I talk about my students, when I talk about anybody, I vote for free thinking.
Correct.
If I pressurize to do something,
Mhm.
okay, their obedience, their obeisance would mean nothing to them in the long process. So let them follow their passion. Let
Yeah.
them do that. This is what I advise.
Yeah.
Passion definitely has its cons. It doesn't bring in uh, money, okay, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then as long as you're doing something willingly, I'm
Mhm.
sure it has its benefits. It has its
Yeah.
benefits.
Wonderful. And what challenges have you faced as a women balancing work and the motherhood? This is, most of the women that they face at work and at home. So actually, this answer would be really helpful to many.
See, we have to internalize the fact that there is never really a balance.
Okay.
Never really. Even thinking about striking a balance is very, very self-defeating.
Okay.
There have been long hours when I was absent, when I was away from my son, committed to my work.
Okay.
So these pangs of guilt, they crop up from time to time.
Mhm.
And it will be there throughout. But of course, I had support from my parents, from some of my relatives, from my
Yeah.
husband,
Correct.
definitely.
Correct.
But I'm also glad that apart from everything, my son has also understood.
Hmm.
He has understood that he has to grow independently, and
Mhm.
he has supported me in notable ways.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm proud that he has matured
Yeah.
at his age.
Mhm. Great.
Uh,
Yeah.
just hope our children, all our children, they
Yeah. Yeah.
understand our unwavering commitment to work.
Correct. Correct.
And, motherhood, if I may say, it's a very ennobling feeling. It
Yeah.
gives you a kind of gravitas that I never had.
Hmm.
No, so I'm
The
grateful.
feeling that you cannot describe. Yeah.
Yes, I'm grateful
Yeah.
to my son for making me a
Yeah.
mother. And
Correct. Correct.
swapping from work to motherhood and motherhood back to work, which are two
Yeah.
different, very beautiful worlds, but two different worlds,
Yeah.
has made me, very, very, this has remodeled me into a very different person, into a very strong person in my perception of the world. Now, when
Yeah.
I go back to the world, I think I'm much more effective than when I was not a mother, when I was not married.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
in that way, it may be challenging, it may be difficult. You will have tears all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time. but then it strengthens you, it reinforces your own resources in
Mhm.
unsaid ways.
But then again, what happens is, when you are too busy with work, right? So that is also a good thing. Whatever time we get from our work, we want to spend it quality time. Like that becomes a quality over quantity.
Yes.
Yeah,
My son looks forward to those moments.
yeah,
We together, we travel. I travel a
yeah,
lot,
yeah.
fortunately. He's a
So I
very
feel,
good
yeah.
traveler.
So that moments we tend to give more, priority. Those moments.
We
Yeah,
prioritize, we
yeah,
understand
yeah.
because there is absence. When there is
Correct, correct.
lack, you understand. When there is
Yeah,
abundance, you do not.
yeah. So far, it's been really, really wonderful hearing from you. And with AI tools like ChatGPT entering the classroom, how do you see them shaping the future of teaching and learning in literature and humanities? And previously, you answered me that the cut and copy and paste thing, the kind of thinking, it has been, compromised, right, due to all this. So this is one point. But how do you see them shaping the future of teaching and learning in literature and humanities?
See, AI will enter classrooms as long as you allow them to enter.
Yeah,
On the one. On the other hand, AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, these are, at least in my classrooms, they are
yeah,
not forbidden. They are not forbidden. Come on, you have to be realistic. You can understand when you use these AI tools, you can understand that in the wink of an eye, they give you interpretations, they give you meanings, they give you a structure. This is there.
mhm.
But what is important is the selectivity, the culling.
Okay,
How do you cull that part of the AI or whatever is given to you by AI? How do you cull the best that will come to your purpose, that will serve your purpose?
okay.
And this culling, as I would say, or this
Mhm.
selection or selectivity will come to you only through a very rigorous process of deep understanding of your subject.
Okay.
It's a process of continued learning. It's a process of ultimate surrender to scholarship.
Mhm.
When you know something, only then you can choose what is best out of a given.
Yeah.
So I would say
So
that,
can you, like, as you said that, about this thing, can you describe with an example, small example if possible?
if you put, for example,
Mhm.
um, I just tried doing this. I put
Okay.
an essay
Okay.
by Alberto Eco, an essay into the ChatGPT
Mhm.
format. Okay.
Okay.
So what AI did was it restructured the entire essay very skillfully in a very
Okay.
organized way,
Okay.
in a certain structure, so that understanding becomes easy.
Mhm.
But in the moment I put certain fundamental questions to
Yeah.
Gemini or ChatGPT,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
certain fundamental questions that really need introspection.
Okay.
That was the moment when AI faltered.
Mhm.
So, as long as it serves your purpose, okay, you ask AI to, uh, create a website for you,
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
But then you cannot ask AI to create a thought process. That
Mhm.
is where the human subject comes in. There
Yeah.
have been numerous, there have been a lot of debate about this, a
Yeah.
lot of symposium, a lot of seminars all around.
Mhm.
But I would say,
Mhm.
and I would vote for that the human subject is irreplaceable. It cannot be replaced.
Correct. Correct.
AI just gives you the facts, it'll drop the
Mhm.
facts. But what about the introspection? What
What
about
about the decision making, right?
uh, yeah, logic also it tries to provide,
Logicals.
tries to
Mhm.
give. But then
Yeah.
what about the inherent philosophy, the
Mhm.
contemplation, the ruminative study that deep um, research requires, for example?
Mhm.
So there goes, that is the point where AI goes amiss. It
Yeah.
not really connect the
Mhm.
contemplation, the ruminative thinking,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
this is the forte of the human mind. And
Yeah.
not, like I say, we should never compromise. And this
Mhm.
is, the human mind is integral to any research. We should not leave it to AI.
Correct, correct, correct. Because the way we think is quite different, right? Yeah, it has a lot of capacity.
It has been, you know, repurposed, it has been recreated, reconstructed through a
Yeah.
process of intensive learning.
Yeah.
Deep
Yeah.
learning.
And ultimately, when we keep like giving insights to ChatGPT, for example, if I, talk about something like related now, related to some, for example, I need the visa for this country, right? So ultimately, how we provide inputs, so it will depend on that. Like the
Yeah,
answers also reflect on the inputs that we provide.
things boomerang. If
Yeah,
you get it very carefully, things
correct.
boomerang.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
PG students, they would
Ha
say my
ha ha ha.
AI is very, very limited. PG
Okay.
students, why I'm mentioning them? Because, of course, they are very advanced learners. They
Yeah,
are
yeah,
trained in the thought process. So things boomerang.
yeah,
The human mind is, you should in, it also depends on how much you invest or do not invest your
yeah.
mind
Hmm.
to to this plethora of
Yeah,
exposure to the
yeah.
impressions, which can be both literal and non-literal. All
Hmm.
right.
Correct.
We train in a particular way,
Yeah, true,
and
true.
we need to harness technology as
Definitely.
much as it can give
Yeah.
us.
Hmm.
Technology is replaceable,
Yeah,
human is not.
correct, correct. Wonderful. Thanks. Thank you so much. And I come to my last question of the podcast. And here it is like in today's media savvy, tech driven world, right? Where students are constantly on social media. Even I see reading books in like digital platforms, read newspapers in digital platforms, even those things also come up. Like even notebooks in digital platforms, right? So creating reels and consuming a lot of content. How do you view this trend? First question. Next is, do you see this as a distraction, or do you think it can be used positively in education and personal growth?
Okay. So media savvy or media crazed is one thing,
Hmm.
and tech driven is another.
Yeah,
The demands of the time, the demands of everything around us has forced us to become tech driven. We have to be
yeah,
technologically,
yeah.
to be,
Incline.
yes,
Yes.
inclined as well as experts
Experts. Yeah.
in the use of technology.
Hmm.
When you say media, we know the process. None of us are unaware of the process of demand and supply, how it is
Okay.
created. We know the insidious method of consumption.
Yeah. Demand supply. Like I remember studying economics in
Yes,
MBA. So demand supply curve saying,
yes.
and there's a perfect market where equilibrium, where demand becomes equal to supply.
Because
Yeah.
demand is created.
Created. Yeah.
The capitalists will create the demand
Hmm.
so that the supply is adequately consumed.
Hmm.
So the profit makers are behind us,
Okay.
behind us. We do not even know what is happening to us. The problem is that, you
Yeah.
know, okay, on the one hand, I might say that there is a positive to it. If you're thinking about media, social
Yeah.
media,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I'm pro technology, all right? Please go and learn technology. Please
Yeah.
go
Of
listen,
course.
use
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
your own benefit. But media crazed, when you keep using media, like for example, you are posting, reposting, overposting, what does it show? It shows a kind of lack in yourself. It shows a kind of constant need for validation, for self assurance, and that through external signifiers. You
Okay.
have to, you are sad at the moment, you post a very beautiful picture which is filtered, I'm sure, but then you get 1,000 likes and you are gratified. So this is instant gratification, and this is, I believe, it is killing a generation. it,
Hmm.
it very strongly reflects whatever is happening in America. It reflects
Yeah.
a generation of hollowness. I
Hmm.
see T.S. Eliot's hollow man everywhere hovering around, you know and this hollowness is non retrievable. We are living in a world where we are witnessing two wars.
Hmm.
Millions getting killed, million children, young adults deprived of
Yeah.
everything, even the freedom to think.
Yeah.
The superpowers are
Correct.
grossly violating international laws. the rise of China. And as a corollary, America is trying to
Yeah.
rise their hegemony over the country, over
Yeah.
the entire world, their imperialism over the world. The world has become very, very multipolar. You
Yeah.
know, in trying to, if you try to essence everything, there is a multipolarity. You trust one country today and you cannot trust another. All this is going on. So many of them are dying out. And how
Yeah.
can anybody be so callous and be so self-centric to
Mhm.
deny uh, all that is going around you, to be
Yeah.
only concentrated in yourself. I
Yeah.
also post, I do post.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's an experiment. I
Mhm.
remember a month back, maybe a couple of weeks back, I posted something by Judith Butler. She's a
Okay. Mhm.
theorist and feminist. So
Yeah.
she commented something on a particular social phenomena.
Yeah.
I managed to get 7 likes in 7 days.
Okay.
Immediately after that,
It's very less actually, comparatively.
yeah, and that also came from some of the most intelligent people across the world.
Okay.
Immediately, this feels very rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Immediately, I posted one of my pictures where I managed to look good.
Yeah.
In about 2 hours time, I had, say, mine is a private account. I had about 110 likes. So this is the
Yeah.
hollowness, shallowness of everything. No one
Yeah.
there to listen to sense.
Yeah.
Would only some require this very, very instant gratification.
Mm-hmm. And entertainment is something which really attracts. Yeah. Songs, movies, reels, and all. Now it's been going on in Instagram. Yeah.
If you read them,
True.
academics read these tendencies. We
Yeah.
research, thorough research on these tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
So you can also understand how people have been
True.
being pulled into consumption.
Yeah. 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 And the amount of time that we like goes on watching the
Absolutely.
reels, it's a lot.
Absolutely. The
So
scrolling is,
yeah. So someone was giving an article on TEDx. I saw an article. So he says the power of 20 minutes. So even the power of 20 minutes, like if you plan 20 minutes, like 10 minutes, I'm going to go for a jog, 5 minutes, I will do meditation, or 5 minutes something other. If you just plan even for like 10 20 minutes, it is, it becomes a lot of like productive. But then we see, so I feel that the this generation, although they are creating a lot of content, reels and all, or watching, even they are watching, a lot of time goes on just we scroll down. And the reels that you like, it keeps on changing, right? And also Instagram with their AI with tools, they also showcase you those kind of reels. So I feel that sometimes we need to just cut from the like give a gap or something like that. We have to practice that. It's
we
not
have to
easy.
understand
It's not easy.
that we have to
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
that these platforms are playing upon the psyche of the consumers.
Correct.
We
Correct.
have to understand that, and we
Yeah.
have to give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Correct. Correct. So, so here's the end of the podcast, and I'm sure that this would be really beneficial to the students, and like the people who wants to go for academics or any other thing that you have talked about. It's really very beneficial. Thank you so much, Dr. Lulu Mariam Borgohain, for your time. And from you're from Assam, Dibrugarh, and it's really nice to meet you through Zoom. Yeah.
Thank you. It has been really very engaging talking to you, as I had
Yeah.
predicted in the beginning of the session. Uh, Keep the good work going,
Yeah.
because rarely common people like us, I would call myself a laity, we barely talk. We
Yeah.
barely, it's, I'm not just talking about myself, but then I'm sure there are others, millions of them out there wanting to share their opinions.
Definitely.
I definitely appreciate your initiative. Thank you so much, and best of
Yeah.
luck for the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for your time. Yeah.
it's been my pleasure.